live. Hopefully.
Hopefully. Hello everyone.
Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting stream. Hopefully you can hear us and see us and all the above. Yes, sorry there might be some technical difficulties because Dev has abandoned us once again. She's not even in the office, so we had to figure out how to set everything up.
And we just figured it out like 1 minute ago.
2 minutes ago, there were problems like things didn't come through. The camera was not going through the video capturing device. But I think we're here, and I hope we are streaming everywhere. Is that?
Yeah, I can see it everywhere.
Cool. So we're all good. Yes. Nothing. Everything is good.
So we're here, and players are here. We're gonna say a couple of hellos.
Do you start?
Yeah, I'm gonna start. Hello to Howard Choi, to G1 Armada, to Rochin, Alexander Deryabin. Hello to Bruno Richard Blanco. Hello to Chris Bettis, Matt McGuinness, War Queen, Eric Gates, Hotshot, Zachary Couture, Shane Green. I'm also gonna say hello to Ashish, Jason Perry, Sean Hanson. Hello to Boris Christian, Juan McCrow, Rob Quinn, Matt DeMario, Rochener. Hello to Fernando Pocapura. Wow.
Cool. Who have we not done yet?
We haven't done Twitch.
I'll do Twitch. Hello Prime Time 1969. Hello Rodimus Prime. Hello Papi Bless. Sue Beagle, AWD, Pony Night Shadow, Scourge 1024, Fable 77, Kronos Prime, Grizzly Dan, the One Many Emerald, the Busher Bot, CG, Alvi, and all the remaining people. So hello everyone and welcome to another stream where we'll be talking about a lot of exciting things in the stream.
Yeah, so we're gonna start with the event.
We're gonna show the new event, which is called Rampage. On Twitch, you should see it's much of a thing. We're just gonna figure out how to change the name in time. So, but it's the Rampage event. We're also gonna be showing the new combiners joining us this weekend.
Is it? No, there is already videos on YouTube, right? But we're gonna demonstrate.
Yeah, there are videos, but we have not sold them from our side. So we will go through and show them in the showroom. We will go through their abilities. We will show them maybe in the battle or maybe not.
Maybe.
Well, we will take him into some battles, but it was the challenge battle is not ready. And so we'll show all that, and in the end, just keep another surprise.
Yeah, surprise announcement.
Yeah. So a few things happening, a lot of good things. So yeah, let's jump straight in, I guess. And so the new event, Rampage. If I can find it, there it goes. So yeah, the new Rampage event. So this is our typical release of combiners event. This is an event that you have a chance to get a 4-star bot that's for the new combiners. So as a reminder, you can still get duplicates, but the Crystal will have the 5 4-stars that actually making the combiner Defensor and Abominus. As a reminder of what this bot is, for Defensor you can get, you can go inside and show it. Hopefully they will be there. So for Defensor there is Blades, First Aid, Hotspot, Rook, and Streetwise.
And for Abominus there's Reaper, Snapper, Cutthroat, Blot, Hunger, and Sinetwin.
Yeah, so you will get one of those 5 bots. Of course, you might get unlucky and you can get a dupe, but there should be even chances. So outside of this, you can also get, for the first time, Combiner Spark. For the first time, we'll be giving Combiner Spark, and you will get a 40,000 Combiner Spark. This is something we couldn't do until now because the Combiner Spark was segmented between the different combiners. So we didn't want to put it as a reward on an event, and it might not have been appealing for some people because it didn't have that combiner. But now that the combiner is universal, we can put it into events. So this was
a perfect event.
Yeah, 40,000 combiner spark. You can get 2,500 premium shards. So, you can get, I think, 1,100 shards. The log has not been updated here. You can get 8 MK3 booster crystals, which has like a choice of one of the MK3 boosts that we have. And it's also super XP event. So we have discussed we want you guys to get more XP, so we want to be doing more like super XP coming up. We have already increased all the events for triple XP, but we want to be able to give you more super XP than possible. So this is another super XP event. If we go through the totalizer, the event finishes at 400,000. It's a bit chunky and grind in the end, but you'll be glad to know that you only need to reach 181,000 with your alliance in order to get the 4-star crystals. So the idea, I guess, for Hyro was your alliance can push, they can get the 4-star bot, and then if you want to push more, you can actually get more combiner spark and more MK3 crystals and more 3-stars. Cool. So
that's a cool event.
It's a cool event. I think you get combiner spark that you need for the new combiner if you get lucky.
You can get this 4-star board. Most of them are pretty new as well.
And if you get unlucky, you get you get power cores and you get 5-star shards. So I think it will be good for nearly everyone.
Yeah. Do we? Yeah. No, that's pretty good. So the players can get this 4-star bot, but when is the combiner be available? That's the question.
So the combiner will probably be available tomorrow before the event starts. We usually push on Thursday, but I didn't want to push it just now before the stream. So you guys could there was some point showing the combiner if you could actually have it in game. But it will be live tomorrow, before the event starts. So if you have the combiner, you can put him into the combiner lab and start upgrading them, and then maybe all start using them straight away. So yes, from tomorrow morning, you will be able to play with the new combiners.
Cool. Is there dialogue?
Yes, of course there is dialogue. I'm glad you mentioned that. There's still dialogue. The dialogue is not actually live in the game. Usually we do put them Thursday evening. Again, because something we have to manage not releasing the combiners too early, and the combiners are part in the dialogue. The dialogue will go live tomorrow morning alongside the challenge battle. So
challenge battle and dialogue will come tomorrow probably early. Yeah.
Cool. So let's go to the dialogue. I can probably shoot it from there, so you can do it from this screen.
Should we play this one? Yeah. First aid. Activate the Enigma combination.
Are you sure, Hotspot? If we do this, there's no turning back. No undoing it.
I'm sure. In fact, I think this is why Optimus Prime assigned us to guard it in the first place. He saw this coming, understood that there was really only one viable counter.
In other words, we 5 must become one.
You got it, Streetwise. Protect the bots. Prepare to combine.
Oh well, aim for Shanix.
It's begun. I can feel it.
Wait, we're not alone. There's someone in here with us.
Too late. We are Defensor.
Should have done it this one. Impressive, but by the same token, we are now abominable.
No, what have we done?
What's happening in there? No, this is the way I planned it.
Starscream, I should have known. Unfortunately for you, it's exactly the way I planned it. Thanks to the Terrorcon, the Enigma is mine. And now you and Annie and all the Megatrons must now bow to me, Deathsaurus.
Nice to meet you, boss.
Wow, the Enigma bunker, it's breaking apart. It can't contain them.
Duck and cover!
Yeah, so once again, It's kind of like the end of the leadership contest.
Yeah.
And once again, like Starscream had the master plan and just
And it
failed.
failed. So, he did nearly trick every other Megatron except the original Megatron. But yeah.
Yeah, so there is a second part as well for these dialogues that you can check in the newsfeed in the game.
Yeah, cool. There is a typo, some people mentioned the dialogue. We'll fix it for tomorrow.
Okay, you just say.
I'll let you know after this. But yeah, good. So that was the story, and then without further ado, let's just start going through and showing these bad
Is
boys.
it gonna be there?
Yeah, just go into the wine lab. So yeah, let's start with Defensor.
Yeah, so Defensor.
Defensor, I think, is like, I like how he's like really like his original G1 in lots of ways, minus unfortunately Groove that didn't make it to this point in the story.
I think it was mentioned in the story once again recently.
Yeah,
The fact
just-
that he died on the side of
saying that he died.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, that's him. We can see blades here on the arm. Which one is this one?
Let's see if I can make this a bit smaller so you can see it better.
Yeah, Streetwise is here. Rook is here. Yeah, and then can you just check the transformation?
Yeah, cool. Oh wait, Echo.
Yeah, they did mention about Echo. So yeah, and we can transform it again.
Is there more Echo? I don't know. Apparently there's some echo coming in, so let's see if that clears. Echo's gone. No, okay, actually, I think you can still hear us. Maybe there's two mics, but okay, so
Yeah, it's good.
we'll just wait for there. Hopefully it's all good. Good. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, so you can see Defensor, he's got a big gun, same thing for Abominus. They have this like ability when they regular fight where they shoot a little bit from afar before getting into the melee attack. Yeah, that's him.
Cool.
Should we show Abominus or should we show?
Well, we need probably should
Ooh.
go through the abilities because we cannot actually change.
Sorry.
Just let him transform. Okay.
Sorry.
Cool. So
There we go.
let's go through the abilities, and this actually the abilities. It's the first time. Well, for a while now, we're using a lot of some of our players for playtesters, and they've been invaluable in actually getting some really good feedback.
Yeah,
So we've done actually.
Yeah, last week, we kind of like came with the first version of the ability, and we spent like most of this week talking to like playtesters that have like tried the combiners on the test server and have given us a lot of feedback, which was really useful. Like sometimes just little details like like comfort of life that just like actually make a big difference. So for the first one. The first one is called Blazing Fire. It's like something, it's a range ability. Defensor is going to use his gun and is going to like drop some sort of like fireball onto a large area, and then those do like quite a lot of damage in this area. So it's a simple first ability, but the trick is, and for the first time on a combiner, it's combined with the second one.
Oh, look at that text.
Look at that text. It does a lot, that's why. So the first one does like ability, does damage in the zone, and the second one is quite similar to Star Saber and Devzorus. Of course the commander is not going to fly, but he's going to rush, and on this rush he's going to spread an electrical fire. So this is this thing that stuns the defenses on the way, and also like does some damage over time. But yeah, I was talking about the combination between the first two. If you rush into the zone you've initially shot with the fireball, then the electrical fire spreads and does like more damage in the zone and stuns more defenses around you.
So ideally you would be engaging the first ability in order to hit an area and then actually rush to the same area so you can actually get the most bang out of bang with both abilities doing more damage.
Yeah, it's convenient because the rush, then you rush in an area and you stun the defenses there, and that makes your combiner take a little less damage during this time. Yeah.
Cool. And the crown jewel, the 4-star ability is again.
Force shield. Yeah, so it was inspired by Defensor in the G1 cartoon. He's a protector bot and he wants to protect. So it has this force shield that is like triggers and then like reflects the damage. So we wanted to do something like really inspired by the cartoon. So what it does, it just generates a force shield and it reflects 90% of damage. And after 6 seconds, the force shield explodes and does damage in a really large area.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting is that if you deploy this ability during a battle and then the combiner dies, then the combiner will keep on protecting your allies in the battle following for 10 seconds after his death.
Yeah, which like we haven't done that before, and it's a nice, because we wanted for Defensor to be able to defend other stuff, but because the combiner is only by himself in the battle, it felt like we couldn't like find a way of doing it. But Fabian actually discovered like that was actually possible.
Yeah. It's possible to just like have the combiner after his death to just like generate this shield over. So it works on almost everything, like bots, minions.
Nice.
It works on decoy as well. So yeah.
No, it's pretty cool, and that's one of the abilities that were more affected with the feedback.
The playtest. Yeah, it was kind of last week. It was still very different from that. And the playtester gave us like a lot of like good feedback, and we changed it a lot.
Yeah. So it's really good to hear people from the community playing the game and actually like taking some time out of their real lives, the lives of actually like sitting with us and talking to us. And we've been wanting to do this for a while, so I'm glad we have this opportunity because it's usually I guess down to me and Fabian to find the balance, and we want more opinions. So we have a big group of testers now. Hopefully in the future maybe we can allow it to some other people if we need the time. But it's really appreciate all the feedback we'll be getting.
Yeah.
So that's Defensor. We can take I think a pause before we can actually change and actually show Abominus in the game. So 1 second.
Let's just switch and I can answer some questions. So some people are asking, can you explain a little bit how Rhinox and Tarantula heal ability works? So Rhinox and Tarantula are rushing through buildings, and as they rush through, they put this buff on the enemy defenses, and then in the area around the defenses, there's a pulse that heals the bots from your squad. So for example, if you send Rhinox and Tarantula in the front and then your bots are following behind and they go through this corridor of heal, then they get healed. So you don't have to charge through your troops to heal them, you have to charge through buildings, and then you're going to drop a pulse healing sort of effect that will affect the troop that goes around in the defenses. So it's nicer to kind of like rush and charge through an area where there are defenses and bots really. Cool.
I think we are ready to show Abominus. So without further ado, this is
Abominus. It's a very colorful combiner.
It's always been one of that. I think for me this time Abominus, like I do like him much more. I know Defensor is more to the G1, but it's just Abominus just fits better together.
Yeah. Although it can you could think like how is it gonna fit together, because all these bots are like have different color, different shape and everything, but it just like I don't know, it looks just like quite strong and robust. I really like the bit with Reaper Snapper on the right arm.
It's so good, like all the little like the heads and from all the Terracorns and the little Sark. Reaper Snapper, as you said, on the top of the arm. It's very good. So here again, like he has a big cannon with the way his Defensor. So we disassemble.
Yeah, and because we actually really reusing the same model of the bots to do the combiner, all the good work that has been done throughout the month for specific bots, like you can see it on the combiner, which is really great.
I do love blood walking around.
It's a bit weird, weird and creepy.
Oh, we haven't done Cutthroat flap his wings. There you go. He does it. Yeah. I like how in Volcanicus like strafed did this, but I'm saying like I haven't actually. I just saw Abominus for the first time. Here goes blood. Abominus, really like him. Hope you guys are excited to get these guys. They've been coming for a while. People have been asking us what's the next combiners. We're deep in some of the bots, but then actually, okay, there's no other way around it. Like, we need a new combiner, so let's just push in the last few months.
We hope you're excited. It was like, I mean, how much is it? Fifth, sixth?
This is the fifth one.
It's the fifth one, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like it took a little bit of time because we also wanted to do we wanted to do something good with this combiner, like something a little bit original in terms of ability, and make this combiner useful. Because after fifth, you might think, oh, why would I need another one? And we just created some more defensive abilities and all that. So yeah.
Yeah, it gets. I think it's. I know people saying like, oh, we have too many combiners, but especially with when we introduced the new cooldown for the combiners. It can be useful to actually have a combiner if you've not leveled him that much, just to go into the battle and soak some of the damage and give you some benefit. So we think Abominus, even on the lower levels, if you have him in a 4-star, he can actually be productive. But even with his main two abilities, I think he's pretty good to just use him to just tank a bit of the damage, do a bit of damage, and allow you to win the battle.
Yeah, and also it's also like a combiner we've created after we've released the raids, and we also when I was creating the ability, I was also thinking of the raid, not primarily, really, but the defensive abilities are going to come very handy in raids because that's where defenses make a lot of damage.
We didn't have raids back when we did the last combiner, so this combiner was we can actually do something that can be useful for the raids.
Yeah, and definitely the force shield will be useful as much as the stun.
Yeah. It has the same abilities as Defensor. I think it's for the first kind of situation where I was like, oh, should we give him a shield on Abominus? But then it gets to the point, if we were to say with some people, one of the suggestions was instead of a shield, use something that enrage the bots that you have. So instead of a protected shield, you can get them attack faster or make more damage. But the problem is then we never know how the balancing will go, and then we might have the Decepticon players the other way around.
You would be able to balance it for one situation, but not all of them. It would have been very tricky.
And we have decided, unfortunately, until a year or 2 years ago, to not try that experiment where we were just doing different abilities for the different functions, because bots and cons want to have some parity, and I don't blame them. It's easier to balance for all and having one ability. But it would be nice if we were living in a world that we could make an ability that's specific for that bot and not having to somehow fit it for the other bot.
Yeah, so the abilities are the same. They're just a little bit adapted in terms of so there's no fire for him. It's more toxic zone. It's more towards the law and towards blood, which is kind of a toxic character, which just doesn't have very good hygiene. That's in his law. He has toxic fluid leaks and all of that. And the shield is also it has a different color. It fits more into the Decepticon aesthetic, being purple and all that.
Yeah. So this is Abominus. Let's do this transformation one more time. People are saying why is his chest piece flying around? It is an artistic choice. I guess it didn't want him to rip his chest open in order to be the body of the Defensor of Hunger, but
Should we show it in battle?
Yes, let's take him for a spin. He's level 1, so might need to take him to a kind of smaller zone.
Yeah, we'll show how to use the ability, how I use them. Of course, there might be different strategy down the line.
Let's see. I hope this account has actually have some bots I can use. Oh, yeah, no, it's pretty good. Cool. So let's take it for a spin. Any questions going around while I prepare?
Is there any question? So when will we get Computron? This is always the case. We put a lot of work into it, and then when is the next one?
I don't know. We have just released one. Just enjoy him. As for Computron,
Computron is definitely a good candidate.
Computron, there's other choices. The problem is the Decepticon side, and there was a good discussion in our Discord chat where people were saying, oh, which Decepticon combiner could be doing next, and I'm like, I'm actually skeptical. I don't know if like which can actually combine to do for the Decepticon side, because there are none of them, and we have bots, and there's some quite obscure choices. So, but we don't know. Like in a year's time, we might have figured something out. Cool. Let's take him into battle.
Is there a plan to increase the ore 13 capacity?
Not at the moment. I think we have ways you can get ore. You can get ore from Sanix. You can get ore from getting like some combined bundles. So for the time, I don't see there's that much need.
No, it's not that much.
But we'll keep keep an eye on it just in case. So this actually is quite a low battle. Alright, let's just show him in here. So let's deploy the troops. So they are alive when he comes in. Let's defense Abominus.
So yeah, typically in a battle, getting there, you would probably trigger the acid rain first.
Yeah.
And try. So we can. Jan is going to trigger the acid rain, so you can just.
You mean toxic zone?
Toxic zone.
Acid rain was your other name.
Sorry.
So yeah, you do the first ability. That's like from a thing, and you can see that he has actually spread quite a lot of zone of thing, which actually doesn't do damage over time. I guess.
It does damage over time, yeah.
Yeah.
You can increase this damage over time by rushing using the second ability in there, and while you do that, you can see also like the electric fire explosion. That's gonna stun all the bases while you.
Yeah, we will not demonstrate him in this base.
No.
He's even in this base. He's way too strong. But I will just show the fourth ability. Just.
So that's the fourth shield. Yeah.
And then just dice everything. He's gonna just destroy this base.
Yeah. He's gonna destroy this base before the return of the bots.
You can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah, I think you were gonna win this battle for yourself. No.
No. So and then you can see that the bots get a shield, and this shield will only be activated if you actually use the fourth shield with the combiner during the battle. It's not just the combiner dying; it's originated by the fourth shield, so it will be only available for the 4-star version of it.
Cool. Let's actually take him into a bigger battle, because I didn't make justice to him. Any more questions?
I'm gonna scroll through. There is a question. Can we fix rust dust and bumblebee stunning friendly bots when they are hacked? I hate that.
That's actually his design.
That's by design. If you hack something, you get like all the benefits from the bot hacked.
I'm gonna let you play. I need to get some charger from my laptop, because you probably soon won't have a stream to show.
Okay. Which space does it take?
Do you like all the way? You might not be. You might need to change accounts.
Did I skip?
Sorry, just keep going.
So I'm going to run another little battle and try to show it with a higher level base. It's not very high level. So if you deploy the bot first, and then the combiner. Again, typically the first thing you would do is just like start with the toxic zone. Oops. The toxic zone on defense. Oh, I need to wait until it's completely combined. Sorry about that. So yeah, the toxic zone is there, and once you have the toxic zone, you can rush into it. And when you rush into it, you're gonna spread an electrical fire that does even more damage, and also like stun the defenses. Here, it's not really a big deal, because you destroy the defenses quite quick. But for defenses that have like a lot of health against a healthy base, it's gonna come in handy. But then what you can do, once you're in the middle of the defense, is use your force shield. That's going to reflect for 90% of the damage to the defenses that attack you at the time. And then when the shield explodes, it does do even more damage. Once that happens, once that happens, and then the combiner will die, because you've activated the force shield, then the bots that come back will be here and get like a 10% shield that will absorb 50% of the damage. The good thing is like if you even haven't deployed all your bots and you deploy one during this 10 seconds after the combiner dies, it will receive the shield as well.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's going to be like, yeah, pretty useful, people say, in wars and potentially in raids as well.
I think a lot of people are saying this actually is a pretty good combiner, and people have been actually testing him into high-level battles, and I agree with the feeling.
Yeah, that's good. That's what we were aiming for.
Yeah, cool. Is there any questions? Maybe I'll actually try to change the account back to differential. We can actually show him in battle a bit more, and hopefully play against some high-level bases.
So does the 4-star ability get stronger when you level up the combiner? Mostly the amount of damage provided by when the shield explodes. I'm just going to scroll through.
Change.
So yeah, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop them in the chat. We are here to answer the question also.
People are asking if there will be an alternate choice for a 5-star bot in Sonic Store. As Jairo said like a few weeks ago, there is no plan to add another 5-star bot. The reason for that is we cannot use any of the existing 5-star bots. We don't want people to not be disinterested for the reward because they already have the 5-star. And we also felt like by putting a 5-star bot, we had to give it a lot of like time to get it. And a lot of people meant that you can't actually use the Sonics to buy other interesting stuff. Because they have to like, I want to save for the 5-star. So our idea is we're gonna leave the 5-star Optimus Primal and T-Rex Megatron, and then people can actually spend it in order to get cores, to get Combiner Spark, to get ore, and all the like squad cores and all the other interesting things that are gonna be in the Sonic Store. Because we want people to just buy these resources. It doesn't make sense to just put 5-stars in there and it's like, yeah, just come back like a year later and then just wait for that. Because then you don't, you get a bit like jaded and it's too much of a waiting time.
Also, some players are asking if there's any chance of a building core that will halve the upgrade time. I don't think so. All the cores for building and for boss are mostly targeted for battle and strategy.
Building times, I mean, I don't know, like there might be some times we might introduce some kind of a special event, so we might just reduce the building times for like certain periods of time. We might do that because I do want some people to catch up. But I don't think that's a problem for a lot of people that are already in a high level. So no plan to actually introducing something to have them, but we might actually from time to time try to do something for people to catch up.
Any clues about the next bot after this event that you can share?
I can say that it's a bot that's been requested a lot of times in the stream.
Yeah.
It's a bot that's quite G1-ish. It's one of the original actually G1 bots. And you're gonna find out in a few weeks' time, so be excited.
Will Rook be available in premium crystals?
Eventually, yes, but probably not for the event. So there is, I mean, we do have a time schedule that Hyro goes in and just put them into the prime crystal. I don't know what the timeline is, and I don't know how far away Rook is, but they're definitely gonna be there soon, but not for this event. So let's go back and actually show Defensor in a battle, in a high level battle for a little bit before we continue with the rest of the things. Right, let's do zone 13.
So
will it be random crystal event or leaderboard? For the new bots, I assume you mean after this? Again, I have no idea. So I assume it might be a chance crystal for this one. I think we had 2 leaderboards in a row, so we want you guys to get a bit of a rest. So I think the next one will be chance crystal. But don't quote me. Hyro makes a decision, so when he comes back, he will update the schedule for you guys to know. Cool. So this is gonna be a bit more meaty.
Well, obviously, also like a good strategy is to bring your bots into the defenses
Yeah.
before you deploy the combiner, because when the shield is going to be deployed, you don't want to lose it on them walking.
In a way, yeah, of course.
yeah.
I think it's a good. I mean, most of the times people use the combiners when the bots are on a really tricky position.
Yeah.
So that's where this is gonna actually be signing. Let's see again. So that's defensor's fire attack.
Yeah, he also has like a range attack that's kind of like on a single target and doesn't do as much as the other one. The same thing for 20%. Yeah, and here you can easily see the electrical fire that spread. Meanwhile, the
he's
defensive
level
stun.
1, so he's actually getting pummeled, but not while he gets his shield up. And that gets reflecting all the damage, explodes in the end, and then the bots get the shield and they can actually smash through things like without any punch. What does the shield does? Is it
It's a
50%
50%
reduction?
damage absorption.
And yeah, that's differential 2. So guys, they will be available for tomorrow morning as like this explained. So hope guys you enjoy them, you get enough the bots to get them, or you get lucky in this event and actually get the 4-star.
Yeah, and you can try them yourself tomorrow during a regular challenge battle newsfeed.
Yes. Cool. So I think it's time to do our
announcements.
Announcement.
I'll let you do it because you made most of the work there.
So one of the reasons why Defensor has high health and his ability is a defensive ability, it has a shield, is because the thing we wanted to do in the game was actually give you the opportunity to put a combiner on defense. So
big.
the surprise is that in a few weeks time you're gonna be able to do that. You're gonna have be able to do a combiner beacon that you can build in your base, and you can actually assign one of the combiners in there.
It was already, we could already see that building in the campaign, right?
Yeah, so it was in the campaign, and people were like, you already have the campaign, why you don't give it us to use into our normal basis? Where it was actually hacked in the campaign. It took us quite a few weeks and changes and lines of code in order to get it done. So it wasn't such a simple solution. And also we actually wanted to actually do it better. So the one in the campaign doesn't have an ability, it only spawns one combiner. This one, the design where I can actually show you, I'm gonna show you, it allows you to do stuff like select any of the abilities that the combiner has available, and you can put it as a defensive one. So you have all the options of all the abilities of the combiners, and you can choose whatever you want. You can play the game however you want, and you can.
So that's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like, so it works like a regular outpost, but you have the choice of the ability you're going to use for the combiner, and obviously it just like opens a whole new realm of strategy, because there's 5 combiner, each of them has 3 abilities,
Yes.
and that many new strategy that you have to deal with and prepare for when you attack a base that's going to have a combiner as well.
Yeah, it's something cool. I think that's what I mean. It was easier to just assign it just a default ability, a 3-star or a 4-star, but then it felt like you might not want to do the 4-star ability. You might like to do, for example, for Victoria, you might want to do the reflective ability. Yeah. So we didn't want to do that. We wanted to give you the option to just have more options, pretty much.
So people are asking, how will it affect the time in battle? So when the combiner is deployed, it's like an outpost. It's just gonna get out. It's not gonna wipe all the bots from like a regular combiner. It's just like you're gonna have the combiner outpost, the combiner goes out, and you're gonna continue your new battle regularly.
We might not be able to show it because this device is about to die. And, let's see, I mean, I'll still try to get something done before the end of the stream, but like yeah, fortunately the device that had the capability to show it actually is dead. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, so this is the first time that Combiner will be available to against with other outpost bots. It will of course cause most delay in the battle. When we release it, we won't be having a Prime League effect because we don't know how they will affect the balance in the top level wars. So we will just have him out, see how it feels, and then you can actually tweak the balance based on how it's gonna feel. More questions? So yeah, we're just doing that so we can handle the questions.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a look. So yeah, the question, which ability will this use? You will be able to choose which combiner you want to assign to the outpost and which ability you want to assign to a specific combiner on defense.
Yeah.
It will be triggered the same way outpost bots are triggered?
Yeah, so...
It's a bit further, is it? Or
we have not actually, we're still going through the design of how it's gonna... what's the range gonna be before it actually gets enabled and not. So it can be triggered by anything, like triggers the normal outpost. Combiners though are actually included for the first time because we want, like, if you deploy a combiner, you can actually get the combiner to attack it. Possibly could change depending if we don't like it. And then you can assign one ability, as people said. So there is a few caveats. The building will actually be quite similar to the seal generator. So the building will have a charge and you will have to charge it for a duration of time, costing more O13.
yeah, I mean, if you want to take a combiner on attack, you use O13. If you want to put it on defense, you use it as well.
So it will be probably, I don't know, we still need to go through the details, how long the charge is going to be, but you will have to have activated the building in order to do that. The reason for that is, again, the other kind of not so exciting news is when you put a combiner on defense, you cannot actually take him with the battle. So it's a choice that you will have to make. It is quite like adding to the defensive power, so we didn't feel that it would be nice to just put a defensive, your most powerful like combiner there, and then you can actually take him to battle. So we want you guys to have to actually make the hard choice of actually which one do I want to be using just for defense and which one you can use in battle. So there are some caveats, but I think that would make it a bit more interesting to design and actually have you guys thinking about which one I want to be putting on defense and which one is actually useful for my day-to-day stuff.
More questions. Wait. We all want to know, will a combiner be able to pop a combiner out of the outpost, or any bot can pop it?
Well, that's what I just answered. At the moment, I'm willing to have the combiner pop him, but I'm a bit like want to see how the balancing is going to be. I don't want like people to just use combiner and just pop the combiner. But I think, I think we'll just leave it for now, but we might change it based on the balancing. We have not actually gone that far to actually tweak some of the balance changes.
So what about the stats? Are they going to be nerfed?
The stats, the same as the normal bots will get the reductions. Probably not so much as damage, because the damage of the abilities are quite the same as bots, and we already kind of go 100% of like bots damage on the HQ16 outpost, but the health will be reduced because they have quite a bit of amount of health. We still have not decided how much that's gonna be. If we actually go into the game, you'll see like this is all like placeholder values here at the moment. So we will be actually getting a bit less health than usual, but we managed to see how much it is.
Of regular outposts, the combiner outpost will come on top of it. It's not one or the other.
Well, it's a different building. It's gonna be giving you an extra like board you have for defense. So it actually enhances your defensive ability quite significant. I think for us, it's one of the last few changes probably gonna put in the HQ16. So with HQ16, we wanted to kind of staggerly increase the difficulty. I mean, of course, we didn't have all these features straight away when we actually release it, but it felt like it would be nice to just slowly give you these abilities as people getting more, can actually be more comfortable taking out HQ16.
So we did this, we did the shield generator for 16.
We did new cores.
New cores as well.
So I think that's one of the last things. It will give a lot of, probably a lot of power. What remains to be seen. I think a lot of people could just maybe blitz through and not even pay attention to him, but we'll see how it goes.
Will the defensive combiner still have a countdown and die automatically?
That's another thing we're still thinking. So at the moment he still has the countdown that actually takes a bit of his health. Like I don't want to straight away remove it because I'm afraid like maybe the health gonna be too much. So we want to see like
it's really a matter of balance. We're gonna play with this. We're gonna play with
Yeah.
the nerfing stats of the outpost and all of that.
And
try
of
to
course,
make
we're gonna
it
actually use our players in order to give us some feedback of what they think, because they can actually put him in these places and actually let us know like what feels quite too powerful and what feels not as powerful.
Yeah.
So let's see, we can maybe actually get in time. We've not actually done any trivia.
No.
The problem being that we don't have trivia questions.
We
so
don't really have trivia question.
we should probably come with something.
I'll come up with something.
People are asking if the outpost bot power and combiner power will be factored into the base strength in wars and zones. I mean, they will definitely get some power up by having the combiner outpost. I do want, by the time I release it, to factor in the power of the combiner and the power of the bot teams, but I can't promise it will actually get in time. But I do want, when you get fight an opponent, depending on how strong the outpost bots and combiner is in the outpost, to actually make them a bit more later on in the wars instead of earlier on as it is at the moment.
Okay, trivia.
Let's do some trivia.
Trivia on the game this time. So we mentioned before that the outpost, the combiner outpost, was shown before in the campaign. Which campaign was it? And what's the exact name of it?
Okay, yeah.
It's an easy one.
It's an easy one, yeah.
So what was the name of the campaign which you could see the building combiner outpost for the first time in game? For the trivia, you need to give us your HQ level, in-game name, and also alliance name, so we can find you and send you some freebie. I'm gonna keep them.
In the meantime, people are asking if there's any plans of changing the time, the limit on the battle. There's no plans for that. Like we still think for HQ16 with a combiner, you can still kind of manage. But for future HQ, I cannot promise that might actually change when actually the health and everything goes up. For the time, I think it's the correct balance in a way. It makes it a bit more challenging. So I think for the time, I mean, it's a bit harder during the Prime League effects, but these are gonna only be there for another like a week or so, or 2 weeks. So after that, it will be going back to normal HQ16, and even with the combiner defense, I don't think there will be that many more timeouts. But future HQs, when that ever come, probably will definitely consider that.
I'm gonna randomly.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm just gonna randomly pick up some answer from the different chat. I'm just trying. Sorry about that.
Are you sending messages to Deb now?
Yeah. So I got some names. 1 second
Cool.
away.
Actually, in the meantime, I can actually show you some of the new changes. As I said, this is kind of still in development, so things will change. But yeah, we can actually show you a preview of how the combiner in Outpost looks. So the big one is the same. You can see it down here. It's the same we had in the campaign, but it's actually changed during the time. So you have the options of actually assigning a combiner. You have the option to charge the building. All these values are placeholders, so please don't make sure that they are. You can actually see the stats. This is going to be a new change that you can actually see how much the outpost actually reduces the amount of health and the DPS. This was all hidden until now, so I decided to actually reveal it up. And for this one, you can actually see what ability is assigned to the outpost. So in this case, we have the Meteor for Volcanicus. You can actually see also how much damage it does and more information, but it's also there. When you assign a combiner, you can actually see when you assign a combiner on defense, like what abilities are available for the combiner that you want to assign to.
And what if you want to change it?
And if you want to change it, you will have to go into your space sprites. So if you go into the space sprites,
there will be some new section on the left.
Yep. So there's a section we have actually had to move some stuff up, like the health and damage. But now you can actually see what defensive ability is there, and you can actually assign anyone you want. So
yeah, you tap on the ability on the left there, and you can see which one you choose.
Yeah, so you can assign any of the abilities that's unlocked for the combiner, and that will pretty much make it live on the outpost. So that is on the quick summary. I don't think we have time to maybe attack him.
So people are asking if we can level up the combiner outpost. No, you won't, I guess.
No, we're going to have one level for now. Maybe in the future, maybe we'll increase it, but for the time now.
Yeah.
So we said the winners first before I actually...
Yeah, I'm going to tell the winners. So the winner for this week, 1 minute. So the winner for this week are Gigabomb 98 from Forever Evil. We also have Sunstorm from Evil Insurgents and Burnout from Rangers Wreckers.
Cool, congratulations guys.
Yeah, well, we'll send you some freebie, give it a day or two. If you have nothing by Monday, please write to the support.
So yeah, we don't have that many minutes left in the stream.
Yeah.
So as to summarize, we have been going through a few things. So we saw the new combiners, Defensor and Abominus, coming tomorrow before the start of the event in the game. We have a really interesting event for you. You can actually win one of the 4 stars for those like new combiners. You can still get the 2, but you get one of the 5 from a crystal, and you also get a lot of combiner spark and a lot of other like cool resources, and it's a super XP, so you can get a lot of XP playing it.
The combiners themselves will be activated tomorrow,
yeah.
And there's going to be a
challenge battle,
so you can try them out.
Yeah. We also, was demonstrating a quick demo, we have a combiner outpost or combiner beacon coming in the game, so we will allow you to assign one of the combiners in the defensive, and you can use them to defend your base. This is probably going to be coming in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We don't really have a timeline yet for when exactly it's going to arrive.
There's quite a lot of information already.
Yeah.
This is probably some really good explanation.
Yeah.
I'm going to put in the newsletter.
We probably will, I think for next stream, we're probably going to go a bit more detail about how it's going to look and with the final values. But yeah, this is coming too in the game. Yeah. So lots of things.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully you guys have the combiners. Yeah. You can actually play them tomorrow, see how great they are, and
keep your eyes peeled for the newsletter. Yeah. There's going to be more info on the combiner outpost.
Yeah, pretty much more stuff coming soon. Unfortunately, we won't have another trivia because we weren't prepared. But yeah, that's the best we can do. I guess the 2 of us.
Maybe we can have street trivia next time.
Yeah, well, we can probably make up for that for sure.
Yeah.
Give a note for it.
Yeah. So the next stream is in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
so
2 weeks time.
We'll see you then.
So join us for them.
Yeah.
And
bye.
Bye everyone.
Have a good time.
See ya.